Hi, I'm Jennell Evans, co-founder of Strategic Interactions, and I specialize in helping high achievers transform into extraordinary leaders. And a lot of the people that work with are very much responsible for leading change in their organizations. And in this video, I want to share with you three things that you must know in order to successfully lead and integrate change into your life, whether that's on a professional level or personal level. So many people have been sharing with me, from clients to friends, about all the changes that they want to make as a result of living through a pandemic for the past 15, now I guess going into 16 months. So I thought by sharing some things that would be helpful about what happens to us when we undergo big changes would be very helpful to anyone who's thinking about making changes, or if you're in the middle of something and you're feeling stuck. Again, we now know how quickly our world can change from having lived through COVID and the unexpected losses that many of us experienced, whether that was a job that we loved or even losing a family member or friend. Um, our world can change quickly too when we are choosing to make changes in our life, right? We make the decision and then boom, things line up and we start making change happen. And people are doing that. They're saying, you know what, I want a career that I'm passionate about, and I want to move across the United States so I can be closer to family members. So for some people right now, even going back to their office, even part-time, represents a big change in their lifestyle that they have not experienced in the past 15, 16 months. So, people are at that place, I think, more than ever about really being courageous and making big changes. So in doing this, though, can be overwhelming. We can say it, and then when we start to do it, sometimes people freeze and the fear takes over and they don't make the changes that they really need to be making. So I think what helps us, and why I wanted to create this video, is to understand as much as possible what's going on with us when we decide we're going to make some changes in our life, and when it feels difficult, what is happening, right? So, whether the change is expected or not, or positive or negative, I think we can all be better equipped with some knowledge that I want to share with you here to help navigate the ripple effect of change, otherwise known as, what I'll be covering in just a moment, the transitions. Change requires us all to adjust to new norms, new patterns, deal with heightened emotions, and eventually we want to get to creating a path forward for us, to make sense of the new ways of being in the world. I want to reference some work that I really respect, that Dr. William Bridges, who's an internationally known speaker, was an internationally known speaker, consultant, author of the best-selling book Transitions, did over 30 years, was really a preeminent authority on change. And I love how he really explains the difference between change and the three phases of transitions that are part of every change. Because I think the transitions is what is new for a lot of people. They don't really think about it. And I want to quote him here. He says, change is situational. Example, losing a job, breaking up a relationship, starting a family. Transitions, on the other hand, are psychological. It's not those events that I just referenced, but rather the inner reorientation of self-redefinition that you have to go through in order to incorporate change into your life. Without a transition, a change is just a rearrangement of the furniture. Unless transition happens, the change won't work. Bridges also went on to define three phases that all transitions have, and I want to share those with you in just a moment. These three phases are the three things that you need to know and to work through these three phases if you want to successfully integrate change into your life. So the three phases are, number one, an ending. This is the letting go phase, where we acknowledge that we are saying goodbye to some things when we make change. Old patterns, old ways of thinking, sometimes people, sometimes even parts of our identity. And it is normal for people to need help to deal with these kinds of losses at this stage, at this phase, sorry. Then the second phase is what he defined as the neutral zone. This is the in-between phase where we know the old parts of our life are gone, never to be had again, but we haven't figured out what the new will be, how we will reset and reimagine our future. And this is the part that can be sticky, it can be emotional, and a lot of people just want to avoid it. The third phase is what he defined as the new beginning. This is the phase where we begin to make a new start, a new identity, a new way of being in our new normal. Feelings of renewal and optimism and excitement are prevalent during this phase as we move from our old world to our new world. And that is why Bridges said that the transitions inherent in all changes begin first with an ending and finish with a beginning, right? Too often, it's normal that we want to jump from an ending to a new beginning and skip that neutral zone where the real work has to happen sometimes, the real deep thinking and reflection, and where we are able to finally let go of some things in our past and accept the impacts of the change in our lives and do what I call that inner work and to figure out what we want and what we don't want in our future. So now you know the three phases that, as William Bridges defined it, that is inherent in changes. So with this information, what can you do with it? I want to give you three strategies to think about now that you know the three phases of transitions that are part of change: the ending, the neutral zone, and the new beginning, in that order. Okay, so that's a little different to think about. First is the ending, then it's the neutral zone, and then the new beginning. So the first strategy is start with being as proactive as possible when it comes to anticipating changes in your life. I work with many professionals, very successful leaders who are always doing this. They are always thinking about their career and are they doing everything they can to be as successful as possible. And some of them find themselves in situations because of their success, maybe in a merger, as an example, and they have to think, okay, will I stay? Will I be asked to leave? Oh, no, they don't want to be caught in that situation having to react. That's just one of many examples. So they may not know how to make those transitions, but they want to be proactive in anticipating anything like that that might happen because they know that's going to reduce their stress, their anxiety, and frustration, and they want to be more in charge of their career. Now, that's something that they have control over, right? So they prepare themselves for what might be an ending, so they can move to a more calm, creative, problem-solving place in the neutral zone to identify, well, what if that happens? What will I do? And to kind of anticipate that so they can think, now this hasn't even happened, and this is just brilliant that people are able to kind of get ahead of things if they know that this might be a potential situation. And then they can be better prepared to create that new beginning so they no longer feel stuck. The second strategy for you to consider is to get the support that you need to make a successful transition. Allow people to help you. Whether the change that you're experiencing was heartbreakingly unexpected, or this is something that you initiated because you really wanted it to happen. Either way, even the smartest, the most resilient, the savviest of us often need more support than we realize. Asking for help is not a weakness, it is a sign of strength. It's recognizing what you need, that self-awareness, right? So reach out to people and form your own inner circle of people that you trust, that you can go to during this stage for support. And it might be a mentor, a colleague, an advisor, someone like myself who has deep expertise in change in life that can help you both professionally and personally. Allow people to help you come to terms with an ending. If that's the phase you're in. Allow people to help you figure out things in that neutral zone. Meet with people, collect ideas, and then have people help you celebrate your new beginning as well, your new reality, maybe your new life, right? So some days you may just need a good friend to talk to, but it's very helpful to have some of the types of people that I just described, particularly someone with expertise in change to help you navigate and get you from maybe being stuck to being unstuck so that you can progress through all three phases of the transitions. Third strategy is focus on what you control and not what you don't control. So when you focus on those things you control, you'll have more momentum. You will begin to see results from the actions that you're taking, and that will motivate you to keep going, particularly when things get out of your comfort zone, which is inevitable in a change, right? We're growing, we're expanding. So that is a really important thing. Just let go of those things you don't have any control over, focus on what you do control. And here's the truth: change is just part of the human experience, right? I think what's happening right now, as I record this in May of 2021, it just feels like there's a lot more churn happening in the workplace and in our personal lives because of what we've been going through for the last 15, 16 months. So, what we want to do is to educate ourselves, know that these three phases are happening in a transition, know what the typical experiences might be so that you can be better prepared to navigate them. Um, we don't need to fear change. If we don't change, we don't grow. And so we definitely want to be able to make big changes in our life and to navigate them successfully, because that's how we're ultimately going to have what we want in our life, right? Sometimes we have to make those tough decisions to get what we want if we don't currently have it. And ultimately improve our life and live the dream life that we want. So I will close with a quote. It's anonymous. I don't know who said this, but here it is. If you don't make time to work on creating the life you want, you're going to eventually be forced to spend a lot of time dealing with a life you don't want. And unfortunately, I think sometimes people are afraid to take those steps to get out of their comfort zone, to make the changes that they know in their heart that they should be making to have the life that they want. So if any of this resonates with you and you'd like to have a conversation with me, please reach out to me by email. It's listed here in the description of the video, and we can set up a call and just see if I can help you. I may not be the best person to help you, but we can have a good conversation, and I can at least, I know I can be helpful in directing you to a next step. And I may be the right person for you too. Take care.